On this special edition of Lexington Now Tree Week, the Citizens Environmental Academy and Partners for Youth. I'm Neil Noah and welcome to Lexington Now for the week of October 5th, 2020. The third annual Tree Week is nearly here and there are plenty of tree-centric activities on the schedule. Arborist Heather Wilson explains.
We are in our third year of Tree Week, and Tree Week is a celebration of trees and all the different ways that trees affect our lives, just in the everyday and the bigger picture as well. We weren't really sure it was going to happen in light of current circumstances, but thankfully we've been able to pull a great week together. The week for Tree Week this year is October 10th through October 17th, and it's full actually of all kinds of different events. We have virtual events as well as in-person events, and it really kind of runs the gamut to get people out and enjoying trees and nature in today's world. Even without our current situation, we would love for people to be out, but including now, it's really important to be outside and be healthy and be in and among trees and nature. This year we have events that range from online demonstrations on how to care for your trees to art projects, and then we also have a lot of in-person activities including hikes and tree plantings and again just demonstrations for how to care for trees and gardens. It's all over Lexington, and truly you can find some way to join in from wherever you are. 2018 was our first Tree Week, and it centered around a group of us really wanting people to think about trees and their natural in the city around them. We had yoga with trees. We had the library had a gamut of events, about 30 different events just at the library themselves, including paintings and books and readings. And then we've had tree plantings and pruning demonstrations. We've had a number of hikes, including hikes at Flora Cliff and the Arboretum and the cemetery. Folks from UK join us, and folks from the city join us, and the Division of Forestry through the state. There's also a lot of private entities that are part of Tree Week, as well as some of the local nurseries have events. I know that Springhouse last year had an event where they did a tree walk through their gardens, and there will be yoga this year at Raven Run. Those are just some of the events that we've had in the past, and we'll have a lot of those again this year. It'll be a little bit different. We do ask that everybody follows the current CDC guidelines for keeping distances and limiting contact with others and wearing face masks. It should be a really great event. We have some plantings that we're doing. We're also encouraging people to plant on their own properties. Say you had a tree you wanted to plant this fall anyway. Previously, we tried to basically have everything in person. We encouraged big groups of people. We wanted participation out in the field, as we say. So last year, UK sponsored a great big mulching event at one of our parks in the north end of town. That's not happening this year because we just really couldn't figure out how to do that and keep everybody safe at the same time. UK does have other events they're doing, including some plantings, but those can be socially distanced. So really the biggest holdups is that the libraries mostly are not operating as they were, so they're not having a lot of those in-person events. We're not doing a big movie showing like we did last year because again, it's really recommended to be in an enclosed building with that kind of a capacity. We're trying to keep the participation at each event a little bit smaller, so there's a little bit more this year of requesting for registration ahead of time, just so we can really keep track about who's together in an area. One thing we've had the past 2 years is the big tree climbing event that the International Society of Arboriculture sponsors. That's not happening in Lexington this year. I don't believe it's actually happening anywhere this year right now, so hopefully we'll be able to bring that back next year. That one's always a really big draw. Really the biggest changes is just smaller sizes, a lot more online and virtual kinds of participation. This year for Tree Week we are trying to honor Jake Gibbs a little bit for this experience. We did lose him this past year, and so we're doing some tree plantings in memorial of Jake. And there's a planting out on the Legacy Trail that will be part of Trees Lexington as a way to honor Jake, and they will do a signature tree there for him. There will also be one in Bell Court if anyone wants to go visit that tree to honor Jake as well. To be involved, you can contact us through the Urban Forest Initiative website. You can reach out to me, Heather Wilson, at hwilson@lexingtonky.gov, We are also still looking for people if you're interested in hosting an event. It's open to everyone, and so if there's an event that you would like to host, you think it's a great fit, please feel free to reach out, and there's an online form. You just fill out, give us the details, and we'll add your event to our calendar.
Continuing with the environmental theme, the popular Citizens Environmental Academy is still going on in a modified and pared back way. And although this current edition is full, Chrissie Balding of Environmental Services tells us what the Academy is about and how you can get in on the next edition.
So we're entering our 4th year of the Citizens Environmental Academy, and it was delayed. In a normal year, we would start in June, and we just kind of took a wait-and-see approach with the pandemic, but did have our first session this past Saturday. We have a smaller class than normal. We would usually have about 20 folks, and we only have 12. So we're taking lots of precautions and making sure that everyone is socially distant and masked. Kind of a blending of the existing city academies and also the Leadership Lexington program. It's kind of a crash course on everything that Environmental Quality and Public Works does. If you've heard of the Citizens Police Academy or the Citizens Fire Academy, it's a similar philosophy. So folks who are very interested in environmental issues make a year-long commitment. In this case, we're going to be a little short of a year. Learning about these. So they'll come on Saturdays and do really hands-on field trips. Like our next one will be here at McConnell Springs, and they'll learn about urban forestry and also stormwater, about the retention pond that is here. The curriculum basically stays the same from year to year in that they learn about the same topics. Now, each particular class has their areas that they're more or less interested in. In a normal year, it is one Saturday a month from June until November. And then the second half of the year, you're just meeting with your project team, so you determine your own schedule. This year, of course, everything is a little different. So we're condensing it down. We're doing 2 Saturdays a month in the fall just to try to get in as many in-person meetings as we can. For a typical Saturday, we'll have a couple of different speakers on related topics. So we might have someone talk about the benefits of trees, but then also the stormwater benefits of trees. And we'll do a tour, and they'll get to see examples. They might get to practice mulching a tree properly. And we have 5 of those sessions that are kind of behind the scenes, really hands-on. And then after the 5 sessions are over, they get to take everything they've seen and turn that into a project pitch and say, you know, here is a way I think the city could improve, or somewhere where there's a gap and something that we could do. So the class will form teams and pitch projects, and we'll select 2 of those to continue. Our goal is for these to be something that have a sustainable element to them. It's not like the class is graduated and those projects are done, never to be seen or heard from again. So there's a couple of examples here at McConnell Springs. If you've noticed the tree crutch over at the Bur Oak, that was from the first Citizens Environmental Academy class. There was a participant who taught at the UK College of Design, and when we did the tour, there was talk about how, you know, this limb was not doing very well, and it was over top of a pedestrian path. So that group created the crutch to keep that tree going. There's also a project over by the Blue Hole. They were having a problem with erosion every time it rained. So kind of created a retention area to slow that down. You can find out more by going to lexingtonky.gov/CEA, and we'll begin accepting applications for next year for the, 2022 class in February.
I Do with Partners for Youth after the break.
Please wear a mask.
Please wear your mask.
Please wear a mask.
Please wear a mask.
Please wear a mask.
Please wear a mask so that the senior center can open soon.
Please wear a mask so I can celebrate my 80th birthday.
So that I can feel safe wherever I go in Lexington.
So we can attend our son's wedding.
To give me the ability to run errands and stay active and independent.
We can seniors get back to our normal routine.
Welcome back to Lexington Now. Partners for Youth School Year I-Do list is here, and there are still plenty of activities for youth to enjoy in spite of the pandemic. Angie Hampton tells us what it's all about.
What we do is we compile a list of programs that are happening during the after-school hours. The program list is provided to us by our community partners and program providers. So it gives a list of activities that kids can do after school. It could include dance, computer classes, art classes, different things like that. The list actually started back in 2012, but Partners for Youth started that because with our community partners, we wanted to provide positive youth programming for kids around the city. So we said, how can we get that list out to people? So that's when we started compiling the I-Do list, and then we distribute it to the schools, to all our community partners, and they copy or distribute that list to their families and youth. Well, Partners for Youth started in 1995 after the accidental shooting of an African-American male by a white police officer. And the community came together and met with Pam Miller, and she said, we need to provide some positive youth programming for youth. So the mission of Partners for Youth is to provide positive youth programming, prevent juvenile delinquency through collaboration and capacity building. And that's where our community partners and program providers come in. So that's pretty much how the list got started. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get our spring break and summer program list out, but people are always emailing us going, hey, when is your list coming out? Because right now during this, these months of COVID, parents are really looking for things for their kids to do. So we have a list of like free and affordable programs that they can do. It's either virtual, some may be in person with a limited capacity because everybody wants to make sure they're following this, the COVID CDC guidelines. So so we get a great response to that because right now people are saying, hey, what can our kids do? They're cooped up, but at the same time, what could they do to have fun while being cooped up? So that's why we like to provide that list. It's getting a pretty good response. We have stuff like, I have a list of things that the Carnegie Center is offering, like virtual classes. They have hip-hop classes, book club, reading and writing classes. We have the art club that is at William Wells Brown that they do, and they're doing some virtual things. We have A Chance to Dance is offering some virtual and in-person classes after school. So our complete list has a whole list of activities all across town. The Lexington Public Library, of course, is, they're offering some virtual classes, after school programs. So that's just really a great thing that people can still do. Well, they can find the list on our website. It's www.partners4youth.org, and it has the complete list. The only eligibility is that you have kids anywhere from elementary to high school that want to be involved in some after-school programs. So, as I stated, some of them are free, some of them are pretty affordable list of programs that are going on around the city. We're looking forward to just providing more activities for the youth, and look us up at partnersforyouth.org.
The Metropolitan Planning Organization is looking for your input into the transportation future of Fayette and Jessamine counties. Kenzie Gleason fills us in.
My name is Kenzie Gleason. I'm an administrative officer with the Metropolitan Planning Organization, which is the transportation planning agency for both Fayette and Jessamine County. And we're responsible for overseeing a transportation planning process for our two communities. We gather input from the public and from local officials and incorporate that into our transportation plans for the community, how we're going to invest transportation dollars in our region. So we oversee plans for all modes of transportation. So this would include public transit, bicycling, walking, and for vehicles. So we're interested in, are there gaps in services or facilities that we need to try to improve upon? And we do different inventories and collect a lot of data and perform analysis, for instance, crash data analysis, to determine where we need to make improvements and try to prioritize those improvements. So we produce a 20-year long-range plan for how we plan to spend federal dollars on transportation projects for the area, and then a 4-year improvement program that actually programs those monies for the nearer term projects that will proceed over the next several years. One of the things that we're tasked with is finding different ways to keep the public informed with what's going on in terms of plans and projects related to transportation, and seeking their feedback on those plans and those projects. So what our participation plan does is it outlines the different methods that we plan to use in order to reach the public and to solicit their input. So one of the main reasons we're updating the participation plan right now is to include the use of virtual meetings as a strategy that we're going to use and that the public has agreed is acceptable to them. It seems, at least in, like, for instance, our Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee, we tend to have a lot of citizens that are interested in that topic and who attend our meetings regularly. Since we've gone to a virtual format, we've had even more people participating. So while I guess a bit of the silver lining in how things are being managed these days in terms of public meetings is that I think the virtual platform allows a lot of people to be able to participate who maybe otherwise wouldn't have attended an in-person meeting. The participation plan is out currently right now in a draft format so that the public can review what we have proposed and let us know if they feel like there are improvements that we could make to both that plan and the things that resulted from that. We'd like to know, how do you usually receive your information? Or is it more through social media? Is it through traditional news sources and so forth? Are there ways that we can reach you that we're not reaching you now? What are the best ways that we can try to make sure that we're getting the word to you and that you have the opportunity to tell us what you think about the news that we're sharing? Our Transportation Policy Committee is the board that oversees all of the different planning documents and transportation plans for our region. They will approve the plan based on our revisions per the public input.
You can give your input through the end of October at lexareampo.org. Most meetings at City Hall are now in a virtual format, and we are bringing many of these meetings to you live. Check out our website for the most accurate and up-to-date coverage of city business. We continue to keep you up to date on how the city is handling the pandemic via our official COVID-19 response site, including test sites. Simply click on the banner at the top of our homepage. That's all for now, but as always, you can keep up with us on social media. Check out the latest traffic updates on Twitter at LexRex or catch our live traffic cams on lexingtonky.gov. For all of us at Lex TV, I'm Neil Noah, and that's it for now.